1.
Don't hear any cracking, you're not doing.
With your thumb and index finger while lifting the jaw to achieve an airtight seal between the mask and the face. And squeeze the back with your other hand or push it against your leg or body. If the chest does not rise with each breath, then you're not providing adequate breaths.
But if this occurs, readjust the mask, reposition the head and neck, and attempt to ventilate. And then, only if necessary, admit.
Feel like a completely different activity to perform rescue on an infant. But essentially, the principles of performing CPR on infants less than a year old are the same as for adults. There are just a few differences, but the differences are significant. So let's take things in the same order as we did for adult CPR. Right now, we'll talk about the skills for 1 and 2 rescuer infant CPR. But this time, we'll first learn to check for a brachial pulse, followed by infant compressions, and then we'll go on to breaths with the bag mask device. Finally, we'll combine those for practicing 2 rescuer infant CPR.
3 fingers on the inside of the upper arm, between the elbow and shoulder. Then, when attempting to feel the pulse, press the index and middle fingers gently on the inside of the upper arm for at least 5 seconds and no more than 10 seconds. If there is no pulse, or if the heart rate is less than 60 beats per minute with signs of poor perfusion despite adequate oxygenation, begin CPR.
Chest compressions, remember these key points. Deliver compressions at the rate of 100 to 120 per minute. Make sure the depth of the compressions is at least 1/3 the depth of the chest, or about 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters. Allow the chest to completely recoil with each compression. And count out loud as you deliver 30 compressions.
So let's get into position to practice compressions.
All right, so these will be your weapons.
And cannot talk, you must act. In a standing or kneeling victim, you'll perform an abdominal thrust, often referred to as the Heimlich maneuver. Stand or kneel behind the victim and place your arms around the victim's waist. With one hand, locate the navel. Then make a fist with the other hand and place the thumb side of your fist against the victim's abdomen, just above the navel and below the breastbone. Grasp your fist with the other hand and press your fist into the victim's abdomen with a quick, forceful upward thrust. Repeat thrusts until the object is expelled from the airway or the victim becomes unresponsive.
If the victim is too large for you to wrap your arms around the waist because the victim is pregnant or overweight, for example, wrap your arms around his or her chest and do chest thrusts instead of abdominal thrusts.
If your attempts to relieve choking in an adult or child are unsuccessful, or if the victim becomes unresponsive, send someone to activate the emergency response system. Lower the victim to the ground and begin CPR.
Perform CPR with one exception. Each time you open the airway to give breaths, look for the obstructing object in the back of the throat. If you see an object that can be easily removed, carefully remove it. But do not perform a blind finger sweep, as this may cause the object to become lodged further back in the airway.
All right, so when it comes to
Are quite different than those for older children and adults.
If you find an infant choking and he or she is responsive, first sit or kneel with the infant in your lap. Hold the infant face down and resting on your forearm with the head slightly lower than the chest. Support the head and jaw with your hand. Avoid compressing the soft tissues of the infant's throat.
Then, rest your forearm on your thigh to provide support. Deliver up to 5 back slaps forcefully between the infant's shoulder blades using the heel of your hand. Deliver each slap with sufficient force to attempt to remove the foreign body.
Then, place your free hand on the infant's back, supporting the head with the palm of your hand. This will cradle the infant between your 2 forearms as you turn the infant over, while carefully supporting the head and neck.
Keep the infant's head lower than the chest and deliver up to 5 quick downward chest thrusts in the same location that you perform compressions just below the nipple line over the lower half of the breastbone. Do this at the rate of about 1 per second.
Then, repeat the sequence of 5 back slaps and 5 chest thrusts until the object is removed or until the infant becomes unresponsive. As with an adult, if a choking infant becomes unresponsive, shout for help. Then lay the infant on a hard, flat surface.